The time has come for my people to go.
I'm not a queen, I'm a servant of the people. I'm not a king, I'm a servant of the people. It's what the people demand. We gonna keep fighting till we get that land. I'm not a queen, I'm a servant of the people. I'm not a king, I'm a servant of the people. It's time to rise to get what we want. We got to organize.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Pantsula Podcast, brought to you by the African People's Revolutionary Party. For those who are not familiar with the A-APRP, we were actually founded by Kwame Nkrumah in the Handbook of Revolutionary Warfare, which was published in 1968. And our objective is Pan-Africanism. For those who are not familiar with Pan-Africanism, as we define it as the totally liberated and unified Africa under scientific socialism. Today on the call, I have my comrades, Jesse and Winfred, on the call. And as you can see here, we have our guests from Black Men United, two members, Nev and Lem. We're going to shortly get to them. But before we get started, we just wanted to commemorate, like we do in all of our episodes, two of our ancestors. One of them being Florence Flo Kennedy, who was a staunch feminist, a lawyer, in which she defended like two of the most prominent Black Panther Party members, one of them being A-APRP Brown. The other one, Obafemi Awolowo. He was a Nigerian nationalist who was responsible for the progressive social legislation during the colonial period. So with that being said, after we got that out the way, I guess we'll start off by, if you guys want to introduce yourselves, on your side of Black Men United, and then kind of go into, I guess, how did Black Men United, come about, get started.
Peace, y'all. I'll introduce myself. My name is Nev, from Jersey City, New Jersey, and I'm an organizer within BMU.
Peace, family. My name is Lemuel Atkins. I am an organizer and member with Black Men United, and I'm here within the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, so I guess if you guys just walk us through like the origins of Black Men United, how you guys started, where you guys are founded, that'd be great.
Touches on the foundations of the org. Right now we function like as a community-based organization, as a brotherhood, but initially we were finna be a club on campus in Jersey City, New Jersey City University. A couple of brothers at the time that was going to school there, just assessing the material conditions of what was going on campus in terms of not only Black male leaderships, but like educational spaces for Black males, like for Africans in general, in terms of the curriculum, in terms of hubs, in contrast with other groups. But, overall, like the priorities of the institution was just in shambles. So we was trying to create something to, have for us. And we was actually halted on that. And, we was told that we couldn't have a group that quote unquote discriminated or isolated, other areas or other identifications. We thought it was fraudulent because, obviously they got sororities on campus, they got fraternities on campus, they got other organizations that have cultural and national identities. So we didn't understand what it was, but, it turned out to be a blessing because, now we in the community and we able to do the greater work without limitations of being on a college campus and ultimately having the work end, once the semester does. So that's kind of like the beginning of BMU.
Okay, bet. So I guess if you guys, I know I'm familiar. I know some of us on the call are familiar because we tapped in with you guys. Just maybe for those obviously who don't know about you guys, which is the whole purpose of this podcast, to get people more familiarized with BMU. Maybe if you could just outline some of the community work y'all have been doing and y'all plan on doing, and what is some areas you guys primarily serve or are looking to serve.
I'll let Brother Lem touch on that, and then I'll piggyback off him.
So one of the programs we have in place is something called the Survival Distribution Program. I know some people like to quarrel and debate, why do we call it that? Why isn't it just called a clothing drive or like a distribution? But I think it's Nev that usually says that like this isn't charity for us. Like this is like a sustained institution where that we make sure like the basic needs of the peoples are met. So at the distribution, we serve clothes, we serve toothpaste, toothbrushes, other resources as well. I know we partner with Nork Community Action Network, and they serve food to the community, like fresh meals. So that's one program that we have in place as far as community building.
So to I guess to expand on the distributions, we hold them weekly in Jersey City and at Newark Penn Station. And like Brother Lem said, we partner with Newark Community Action Network in Newark. We partner with a few different organizations over time at our Jersey City distros, but we don't have a working partnership with anyone there. You know what I'm saying? We're looking to make that happen, hopefully in the future. But like Brother Lem said, you know, we build on that. But ultimately, the reason why we call them survival programs is theorized after the Huey P. Newton, what he theorized. And essentially the fact that, you know, we can't organize the people until we in a position to where, you know, we can meet the people's needs and come to the people with a collective understanding. So, you know, we offer resources. We try to offer political literature as well. But ultimately, you know, we out there, we building relationships with the people. We seeing what's going on, seeing what resources we can plug them in with, whatever like connections we got to that can match or alleviate whatever needs they got going on. We working on that aspect. And we looking to turn, you know, our survival programs into like greater programs that's all under that umbrella. And we working to do that now. So we in partnership, building relationships with the community fridges that are in Jersey City and, you know, like helping them with the needs that they have, because that's often maintenance that gets forgotten about after like heightened times and movement work. So, you know, we working with them, building with them, also in the process of putting our own community fridge in an area in Jersey City that we've kind of, you know, taken like to ourselves to make sure that, you know, we work concentrated in this area, and that's MLK Ave, where we do a lot of programs in that area specifically. So we've had community cleanups there. We hosted both of our Juneteenth events on that street. This year we had it in a pop-up shop event. It was a dope event. It was vibes. One of the brothers actually came through and chilled with us. Last year we had it on the street itself, and it was a beautiful event. It was 500 plus people in attendance. It was vibes. We got some pushback from the city from doing that, so, you know, we had to condense it down. But ultimately, you know, we have a lot of different programs that engage, you know, all different members of our community in the work. So, you know, building community and power amongst our people. Pardon along with the answer too, bros.
That was great, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of information, which we appreciate. I mean, I think, I mean, of course, I'm not out there in that area, but just you guys' organization, big up to what you all are doing. I think it's important to have just that united front. The fact that you guys are called Black Men United, just wanted to know what inspired that name and what it's been like organizing with folks out in the streets. How have the reactions been? Just, you know, because there's not a lot of people, it seems, really meeting that need. I'm just curious how the reactions have been.
Right. So I guess the origins of that, you know, originate from the campus and that conversation we was having about like not really having a hub for like Black males on campus, like in terms of like having intellectual conversation or like addressing the needs there. And we stuck with it. And then, you know, because it served multiple purposes for us in the greater community as well, like the campus being a microcosm of that. So we saw that need amongst the greater city. And also it's beneficial for us, you know, as a group, having that safe haven for us, like on a, you know, like on an intimate brotherhood level. So those have been the positives. We get some pushback in the community about it not being like accessible to all of our members, but, you know, we 100% open to, you know, working with anybody as we've done, you know, over the past. You know, we just really appreciate this hub that we have. And, you know, at the present time, we, you know, not looking to build more on that. So it comes across, but, you know, it's always received well in the end once we explain, you know, why we operate how we operate.
Yeah, I know you talked about also as well, like some of the collaborative efforts you had with other organizations. I think Lemon mentioned it. Maybe you could talk about the other type of organizations y'all collab with, and then those who are not in the organization for whatever reason, you know, how they could help and contribute to you guys.
Where Lem mentioned NordCan, who we do the distributions with. We've done a lot of work over the past year with Solidarity and Mutual Aid in Jersey City, just a radical mutual aid group that provides, you know, resources from civic engagement to direct mutual aid to political organizing. They do the whole nine, but we built with them a lot. Those are comrades. We tapped in with Gabriella, New Jersey, and we've been doing some small work with them too. They've been coming to our events. We've been building with them. A few different groups. There's a sister of mine that's real close to me, but she has a park in Newark that she owns. It's called the Zion Park Project, and it's focused on community rehabilitation in the space of gardening. So we've held political education events there, kind of raising the consciousness centered on political prisoners, and that's a space that we trying to incorporate more so in Jersey City. Newark has a program. I'll just explain it real quick to give it context, that you could rent a lot for $1 as long as you turn it into a community garden. So there's multiple spaces in Newark, kind of essentially function as liberated lands where the people is able to congregate how they want and do what they choose. So she turned it into that type of space, and then those are the type of builds we be having there. We got an event coming up, I guess, to plug in this org too, right? Facts. Hudson Pride Center on next Thursday at the same pop-up shop that we had the Juneteenth event at on MLK Ave. COVID testing, HIV testing, free music and food, games for the kids, things like that. That's next Thursday. There's a park that we've been getting connected with, Triangle Park Association. It's kind of it's a tough situation in that area socially with the intracommunal violence that's going on. But the park has been a staple in trying to mediate that. So we've been trying to build with them. So we having a toy drive there in 2 weeks. They be grilling a lot, so they finna come out with the burgers and the dogs, and we finna build with the toys. And they got the registry for the community, so it's gonna be a good opportunity for us to meet some youngsters over there too, and kind of build with them. But I would say that's some of the main orgs we've been building with. If I left any out, I love y'all too. In case this get back to the game.
How do y'all get people on board with all the work that you're doing?
Usually we keep people on board with the work we're doing through our social medias. So we constantly and ceaselessly post literally all the work we're doing. So if you follow our pages, you pretty much can or have an ideal working, I guess, list of the things we're doing in the community. So that's the best way. Yeah.
Also, we're in addition to that, at events or at builds or whatever the case may be, where we organizing outside, we'll have sign-up sheets. And, we just engage the people. So, when we engage them and really build on the seriousness and the passion that we have for the people, it often engages in more support or just more deeply rooted connections in the neighborhood. And that's just kind of how we build off it.
I know you was talking about some of the work that you guys been doing with political prisoners. Maybe you could kind of go in depth on that and how that's been and probably some of your future plans with that.
Yeah, so so there's an organization called Free More New Jersey, and that work is centered on aid in the global efforts to free political prisoners. I'm actually a part of the main committee on that, aside from my role in Black Men United. And then the work in that organization is looking to create a coalition so that, organizations in Jersey could operate under that umbrella so that everybody could be doing the work to free political prisoners. But currently, right now it's just operating under the structure of the folks that's in the main org. So most of our immediate work has just been focused on having webinars, introducing folks to different political prisoners. We've done Sundiata. We've done political information on the side of Shakur. We've done political information on Maroon. We've done Mumia. Also attending and elevating the efforts of the different campaigns for these individuals and going to their actions. So we show solidarity for Mumia and Maroon as well in Philadelphia. And then we'll hold different events, and at these events, there'll obviously be political education going on too, but we'll also be raising money for political prisoners. And we have a Black Panther vet that we tapped in with Brother Atno Smith, who he's a part of the National Alumni Black Panther Party chapter. So he has direct ways to make sure those funds get facilitated, and that's been real successful. He's been relaying to us and folks and things like that. So that's kind of that work. And like I said before, we looking to, get that elevated so that could kind of be a hub for like, because it's a lot of Jersey organizations that's doing work and like their towns, like from the north to the south. But we looking to see if that could be a hub for everybody to be working on, like, that front.
This has nothing to do anything. I'm gonna let my comrades ask a question, but that shirt is hard, man. I need that. If you want to plug in where you got that at, we'll put that link in the bio, man, for real.
This potent.com, man. Word.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard.
They snap, man. For real.
Yeah.
But one question that came to mind while you were talking, you mentioned political education, and I'm just curious what it's been like for you all in regards to talking about patriarchy, sexism, homophobia. Us as African men, we see that a lot. There's a lot of wordy conversation about these topics because we see it. Patriarchy is just in all of our culture. It's in the whole world. It's the most dominant thing. So I'm just curious to know how it's been for you as an organization, engaging in that with political education, handling those type of conversations with the people.
Right. With the people, it hasn't really been any hiccups. We are working, growing group of brothers, you know what I mean? So amongst each other, there's always times and situations where we'll have to, either criticize ourselves or criticize each other for, faults and things like that. But amongst the people, I don't feel we've had any hiccups, in the area of, how we present ourselves versus what we comfortable engaging with, if that answers your question.
Yeah, so what about for like those members or those people looking to become members of Black Men, like they don't know anything about the org? Like, what is the process of joining? What should they expect? Maybe outline some objectives so they understand, what they're getting into.
Right. So I'll just take the process through. There's an application, and then during that application process, it's kind of like ongoing, like with the application, but like in a practical sense too. So while we're reviewing that, we would like to get to know the individual, have them come to a few like community events, see how they, I guess, maneuver and operate with the people, like what that looks like. And ultimately after the application is reviewed, there's an interview process where you interview about a few brothers in the organization. And from there, there's generally a deliberation, also a review of how those events went in terms of like that individual's involvement with the people. And then there's a probationary period where, you're accepted to the organization. And then ultimately you move forward with engaging in the political education classes that we have weekly and, in the curriculum. And that's kind of how you like get going.
Gotcha. All right. Would you guys consider yourself like more of like a nationalist organization, a Pan-Africanist organization? And I guess what deemed you to tie yourselves, align yourselves with one of the other politics?
I would consider us more of a Pan-African organization based on the overwhelming, not necessarily the overwhelming majority, but based on a significant number of individuals in the organization. I wouldn't say that, as a collective, we consider ourselves like a Pan-African organization. I don't think that the overall organization has like the political awareness of like Pan-Africanism to that extent, which is, why we have the political education program with the curriculum to, aid that. But I would say that, us as individuals, align with Pan-African principles and the ultimate objective, which is the unification of Africans under scientific socialism. And, we operate from that perspective and practice with our people.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask another question. I'll let you expand on that if you want to.
Now, I was gonna agree with Nev. I would say we are a Pan-African organization. But again, we do have the re-education program in place just to raise, potential members and members to that consciousness of Pan-Africanism. So, I think we would be considered a Pan-African organization.
Bet. So I guess with that said, is there like, do you guys just recruit members in Jersey, New York, or are you guys, given that you guys are a Pan-African organization, is it like, just anyone, within the States or within the diaspora? Like, how do you guys, who you guys looking to recruit? Is it like specific areas, or, you guys have a more broader approach, or maybe where some members may be now?
Where we kind of been functioning in a manner where we, our recruitment has been in like the New Jersey, New York area for the basis of like both our capacity and everything we doing, like kind of where our work is centralized. But we've got some members actually that were initially based in New Jersey, New York area that are now kind of like in the southern area, some in the West Coast, and then some in the Midwest. But yeah, I would say definitely though the recruitment is kind of based in the New Jersey, New York area for like the time being.
Yeah. In addition to that, we don't really heavily emphasize on recruitment. We're more looking for brothers that's really serious about doing the work. So that's how we really regard membership, but we don't really heavily emphasize on recruitment. We're more of looking for brothers that's serious and ready, like, to just get in and do the work.
Yeah, I think that's. Go ahead.
To build on that though, because it's like, it's tough having an organization and you looking for it to be, solidified in the work that you're doing and continuous, and then also meeting people where they at and understanding that people might come into an organization looking to do the work, but things happen and things occur, dealing with the conditions we living with, and people drop, and then like when you dealing with limited numbers in a an area that needs a lot of work, it's just a lot of things you maneuver on. So when you get a core group that you're doing some work with, you tend to stick with it until people show that engagement. But definitely looking for folks that's willing to do the work and serve the people. Absolutely.
With COVID and everything that's happened over this past year, like, how have y'all been able to navigate it all?
I would say that the work has shifted a little bit in terms of like the day to day with more mutual aid and kind of attending to our unhoused neighbors. Also attending to folks that are in rough financial situations in the city. But other than that, I wouldn't say it was shifted anywhere else. It kind of intensified and heightened for a period, when COVID first dropped. But that was also the hyper intensification of the movement. So, once that kind of de-escalated a bit, things kind of relaxed on the surface level, and then we just picking up after everything.
And then, do y'all have an understanding of different topics that's been problems in the community? Like stuff that you're like, okay, these are the main things that we're trying to solve as an organization.
Yeah. So, one of the primary issues in our neighborhood right now is gun violence. But the gun violence stems from a myriad of things, but ultimately it stems from displacement, and then too many neighborhood kids being so close in the same areas that creates ultimately conflict, because there's a lack of resources in the environment for people to do things. So we try to counteract that with programs that kind of just alleviate that tension. And we've been working with some OGs in our community to put in place community cookouts where we go into these high centralized gun violence areas, and we having events, and then we just kind of alleviating some of the tension that's going on there. A big problem in the neighborhoods that we also focused on too is folks that are unhoused, and right now we're not in the capacity to where we have tenant organizing. So the biggest way we able to build with our people is just offer them resources. So that's kind of what our survival distributions is based on. Also, I would share one thing that's been a struggle for us and how to engage in is just I would say the political oppression that comes from the mayor's office and just kind of the city's office. We haven't been in the past, we've engaged in it in a civic way, city council meetings and done blasts and try to organize people around voting, but that hasn't been real successful for us. So that's something we trying to figure out. I'm just kind of putting that out there to y'all. That's just one of the struggles we've been going through. But those are, I would say, the primary needs in the community right now that at least we trying to focus on.
how long has that like struggle has been going on in relation to the mayor's office and you guys trying to engage in that ongoing struggle with them?
I would say since we began as an organization, and before us, since the mayor took office, the city administration right now kind of has its hands in all the gentrification that's going on in like Hudson and Essex County, like Jersey City kind of being like one of the pinnacle cities of like the north, like northeast New Jersey. The mayor plays a pivotal role in that, and so just the displacement that's just continuing to go on in our community just put us at heads in general. And then it's a lot that comes to it after that. But yeah, it's been ongoing for a while. Also, like in terms of like how folks respond, I guess, to just the nonsense that goes on. I don't know how any other way to put it. Like I guess the city and the overall climate wasn't really used to folks responding in the way. So you know what I mean? Like if there's a situation that occurs, folks is putting it out there and we putting it out there plainly. It's usually not putting out there that way. So given that, it's created some tension like with the city and our organization too. So we navigate that.
I bet. I mean, I guess where can people like find y'all on social media? Maybe you could contribute to your Cash App. I guess if y'all want to just like say, we're going to put it in the description too, but y'all just want to say it for people who just listening and don't read the descriptions. I ain't gonna front. I don't be reading descriptions. So.
Yeah, man. Tell them folks tap in, man. Instagram.
Read the description. Yeah.
Yeah. On Instagram, you can find us _ Black Men United _ On Twitter, you can find us at Black MUJC on Twitter. And then if Nev, you could give him the Cash App and all of that. That'd be greatly appreciated, brother.
Greatly appreciated. Yeah, you can find us on mutual funds. We on Cash App and Venmo at Black Men United 1. Trying to get more active on Facebook too. Black Men United. We understand that we have an older generation in our community that we trying to organize with. They primarily build on Facebook and they really be building on there. So we trying to get big on there too, but more so outside with it. So like I said, if you ever in Jersey City, like around the areas of MLK Ave on the Hill in general, we might be out there doing a program, and if you see us, come through.
Yeah, I remember that one of the sessions y'all had, your drives. So y'all had a pamphlet and shit on Zionism. Do y'all, is that something y'all continuously do or like trying to do and build? Like have like paper pamphlets and stuff like that to hand, or propaganda for you guys to hand out?
Yeah, we try to consistently have literature. Also, that's at the distributions, but like when we have other events, there's this organization that I didn't mention that I definitely want to plug in. It's the People's Portable Library. And, they're a radical literature organization. They pull up with, just different free texts for the public to, engage in. So, we try to build with them whenever we have an event for the community to get some of that literature on hand. They be having gems too, no cap.
Awesome. I mean, again, that's probably just as important as it would be to have a community defense is just having that political education understanding, so that you don't get led astray. Because I know just with us organizing with the All People's Revolutionary Party, we understand and we stress political education because we understand without it, that's what leads us to the streams of liberalism and justifying all this kind of nonsense. People just saying, reactive behavior. So it's good that, you guys have that as a central part and that's going to grow.
Okay. So like if y'all had all the resources or support that like you could ever want, like what are some things that you would like focus on? Like if you had like a genie with 3 wishes.
Top one, I'm alleviating the gun violence situation in the community. Like that's got to be number one. That's near to me personally. Like what I'm saying, through like losing folks, but also like gun violence just kind of shakes the city up, and like we losing too many folks before the age of now is before it was 25, I would say the median, but now it's kind of like 18, 19, And I'm also like a mentor. So like sometimes I'll be having kids that come up in the system and then you lose them. So I would like to get to that immediately. kind of, I guess the second one, if I'm on the 3 genie wishes, I'm trying to build a better relationship between, like, I would say the seniors and like the youth, you know, and like a like community-based programs, because it's like people attack one or the other, you know, like you'll have youth engagement and then people will try to have like senior citizen engagement. That's usually connected to people trying to garnish some type of voting base. But I'm just trying to bring both of those neighborhoods together so we could get a better understanding of what both of us is going through in the same place from different positions. 3. Lem, what's 3, bro? Okay, what's 3?
Hey, you gave me the hardest decision. It's the last one.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm guessing we can allocate maybe a ceaseless fund for houseless folks where they can catch a loan or a no strings loan to afford housing. I mean, I think something like that would be practical and essential.
True indeed.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. I just wanted to plug in real quick since you was talking about gun violence. I got this book by Amos. I don't know if y'all read it, Black on Black Violence. We may have mentioned it on other episodes, but just wanted to plug that in because I think it's a good book that kind of goes over like, you know, where it stems from. You know, bro, you got your copy, bro?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Y'all got that on the reading list, or y'all plan on putting that?
I think we got something with Amos on the reading list. We might have to slide that though.
Yeah, because this is a good one right here, man. It's a good one. I just started it not too long ago, so.
Hey yo, I always, bro. How many books you read at one time?
I'll probably read like
2, bro.
I'll probably read like 40 books at a time. You know, I don't read them all. I mean, I do kind of read them all simultaneously, but like some books, like I like drop, you know, for a little bit because one book may be more fire than the other one. So I'm saying, right. I had my whole Nkrumah phase. I was going crazy on Nkrumah, and I started getting the second Ture, and I started going crazy on that. And I dropped it for a little bit, you know what I mean? So that's how it be. But I plan on finishing all of them at some point.
Now I know what the rotation is like. Respectfully, my rotation is like on the 3-4. You feel me, bro?
Yeah, I feel
40 books in most.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. I used to be like a one book like person, like just one book. I gotta finish this and get to the next one. And I started to realize, like, man, I need to learn this stuff like quicker. Like, I gotta like up my analysis. I used to be scared that I would read one book or read more than one book and I wouldn't be able to retain it.
Exactly.
Then I slowly started doing 2 or 3, 4 or 5. Then I started, oh snap, I can retain this because I'm taking notes. You know what I mean? And then obviously, you know, with the A-APRP, you know, some of the books that we read on our reading list I already have too. So it's even better when you have a collective and you're like, you know, going back and forth and challenging ideas and hearing other assessments of different things that they read in the book. I think that's super helpful. I don't know if y'all want to speak to that and how that works, you know, with you guys, like how that's been beneficial having a collective political education process, you know, as a collective. Like, you know, do you guys get a lot of like different views and like how's that been?
Go ahead, Dad.
Nah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I've been chatting.
Nah, I was gonna say that like I think we stated it before that like our membership is very like diverse in opinions, and like we consider our organization and we're emboldened in the idea of Pan-Africanism. So it's very important to have a political education that's endowed with Pan-African material and etc. So the Pan-African, like our re-education program is kind of tailored to the idea of Pan-Africanism. So like, let's just say we have a brother that's not really familiar with the ideas, they can come straight into the re-education program and already have a list of books and ideas already in front of them. So like that collective re-education program is very essential, like especially for our organization and what the works we're trying to do.
We're speaking on the I guess the bills though, like it's dope because you get the struggle with bros. You know what I'm saying? Because like you be reading, you analyzing the text, and then like they lead to deeper conversation, and then ultimately you get like inside of like bros' exterior and like what their inner perspectives are, and then we build through that, and then that like makes us stronger as a brotherhood, and then it sharpens our analysis. Like right now, so the re-education program we got is broken up into sections. And then like, so right now, like I'm in a cohort and we in the African history section and we reading through John Henry Clark, and like, it's just opening bros up to a lot of things that they was like miseducated on, so to speak. So we just be building through that. And then like, you know, when you able to like teach somebody or like be taught with somebody or like correct somebody or get corrected in a space like that, like you build. So it's definitely been a plus. It's a struggle too, like having everybody engaged in reading. You know, reading, like I don't take that for granted. Like having a desire to read personally, because you know a lot of people haven't developed that, and you know, building that with folks, that takes time and patience. You know what I'm saying? Bros will try to tap into the meeting. You know, no names on nobody in the meeting. You know, ain't been reading, trying to build. You always know when they slide, like it's like we rooted on the text, you feel me? But then they'll slide, and it's like, go ahead, slide. But it's all love, man. It'd be a blessing.
Yeah.
No,
Something that's been key. Oh, there you go.
Well, I was just mentioning, you did a podcast about reading versus studying, and the importance of that, and just like you talking about the struggling with folks, how that's a thing. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that that's one of the things when you're organizing is. You're not going to agree on everything. You're going to have to struggle to get to a better understanding, but that's what it's all about because it sharpens your analysis.
Yeah, low-key, something that's been key is like if there's a book, like sometimes there's audiobook versions, you can just listen to that like while you're going to school or something.
Yeah, and just like what y'all was saying, like struggling with people. I know when I first started A-APRP, man, I was on some other stuff, man. I was reading, but I was just reading some other stuff, man. I'm gonna just put it that just to say it nicely. But I guess how has it been for y'all so far, like since y'all been, you know, doing the political education process? And have y'all seen personally like anyone evolve and grow, or groups of people that y'all been struggling with so far? And how's that been seeing that evolution? Because I know for me, you know, I've been in the party for about a year now, if not a year. I can't remember what my 1 year anniversary. It's kind of sad, but I know it's around this time last year.
Yeah,
anyway, yeah. I think we're a year in. Yeah, but yeah, how's that been? Like, have you seen personally, like, you know, groups of people evolve and like just how that experience has been just through the political education process?
I feel like it's two things to that, because within the organization, I've definitely, you know, witnessed all of us like collectively like start to have a greater passion for the work, and also start to like pay attention more to like contemporary issues and politics of what's going on like within the diaspora. And like I see that, and like that's kind of how I judge like where the growth is coming from, because you had individuals that, you know, like didn't really have an analysis on like places historically, and like till now they tapped in like, well, what's going on with the politics of those places now in the greater community. Just from like building and like organizing with the people, like we've plugged a lot of different people into like organizations that we do work with, that they now, you know, serving and organizing with them, and like essentially, you know, just creating like more people in the community that's like willing to serve. So like that's been a blessing too.
All right, I guess do y'all have like any like last thoughts or last words y'all want to say, or plug in anything else before we wrap up?
Yo, I guess just a reiteration on political education. Like political education is so important. Where you get your information from, like with contemporary issues now, is so important. It's a lot of propaganda that's going around in a bunch of different ways. So just, I guess what I would do is, you know, tap into Black Power media, read from Hood Communists, listen to Revolutionary Left Radio, check out the Pantsula Podcast by my brothers in the All African People's Revolutionary Party, and make sure you're checking your sources, man, because there's a lot of shenanigans going on.
Right. You know, it's like we say, join an organization fighting for justice. I mean, a lot of people are not a part of organizations. That's why we get a lot of that reactionary behavior, because folks just talking. But like in organizations, you got that critical process, you got that, community accountability, which stirs, the mind to prompt action that's healthy for revolution. So that's what we all about. Thank you guys for sharing what Black Men United is all about. We look forward to organizing with you all further.
Big facts.
Lem, you got any last words or thoughts you want to plug in or say?
Not necessarily, man. I'm just happy that I'm here to build with y'all, and I look forward to further endeavors with y'all. Appreciate it.
Definitely, man.
Thank y'all for joining.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we really appreciate this, man. This is a great episode right here. I'm definitely gonna watch this mad times. I definitely enjoyed this one. But yeah, we appreciate y'all joining. And for those who are listening, we also have other podcasts you guys can listen to, which we'll put in the description, which are done by other comrades within the party. And then also, lastly, we'd like to implore you guys to register for Pan-African Women's Day. That's taking place at the end of July, I believe July 31st. So yeah, if you guys could join, that would be great. Other than that, we appreciate y'all joining and listening to another episode of Pantsula Podcast, and for whatever.
Forward.
Or
Back when